Hi friends, welcome back to the channel. And again, I am JohnAvanti, and I am sitting in my new to me 2008 Defiance EX 220 or 220 EX. Today in 2024 they call them 220 EX Admirals or 220 Admirals. This video is about maintenance on a fuel tank and maintenance on a boat that a lot of people disregard, and what it'll do is it'll give them major problems, even destroy their engines. And I'm going to show you what happens when you have a boat, basically like this boat has an aluminum 100-gallon fuel tank. And unfortunately for this boat and myself, the tank is sealed underneath the deck where you really can't maintenance it. The only thing you can get at is the vent hose, the fill hose, and the fuel sending unit that tells the boat like how much fuel it has in the boat and stuff like that, and how much fuel you're burning if you have that option. But if you're able to remove the lid or the deck, like most boats, and I'll show you a boat that I have two boats that you can remove the deck and look inside of where the fuel tank is and do maintenance and do preventive maintenance too. And so let's go ahead and take a look at what's going on with my boat, and then I'll show you the other boat that is just so much easier to maintain. Okay, so what's basically happening here is there's water getting in from somewhere around this area. So now the previous owner most likely never took this seat off, and it's this here. So it's like a seat, a fish box, a storage box, you know, whatever you want it to be. You could put fish rods on it. Well, whatever you think that you can use that box for, you can use it, right? And it goes on top of here. It sits on there, and you put some screws in, and you just lift it off, and that's the drainage right here for that box in case you want to put ice in it and fish and whatnot. So for some reason or another, this here was all full of sand. Like you can probably see it. All in there was all full of sand, and what happened was, there's holes. So the salt and the sand and the water that stays on top of this fuel tank eventually rots away at the fuel tank. It eats away at the aluminum, and you may have some problems. Now this aluminum should have never happened. Like the salt, it maybe should have been a thicker aluminum tank, or maybe they could have painted the top of it or put like a rubber coating on top. But what would have prevented this for anybody would be like this deck would be able to come off, like this whole deck. Like you could remove the entire deck. Now another way of getting at it, of looking, is right here. And this is where you can pump fuel out. And this is the fuel sending switch, and this was all wet, and I left the cover off, and now it's all dry. So I have a plan in order to fix this. Now what's happening is I have a choice of whether to replace the fuel tank, and that's going to entail cutting up the entire deck, which is going to cost around $2,500 just for the fuel tank. And then I have to pay someone to do the fiberglass work on the tank. And then you got to find someone who wants to even do that. That's a huge job. Like to cut the deck off, pull out the tank, set the tank back in. It's a major job. It could cost $6,000. I mean, and I really don't want to spend the $6,000. So what I'm going to try to do is I'm going to try to fix it, and there's two holes that I see, right? And now What I'm going to do is I'm going to get big aluminum screws and screw them into the hole. Now you can't use any kind of glue or anything. Maybe I can get like an aluminum washer, put it on top of that, because the holes are on top. The tank is not leaking fuel right now. It's not leaking any kind of fuel at all. And the motor does start with the fuel that was in the tank. I ran the motor, it ran good. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put screws in those holes, and then I'm going to get some salt away and spray it down the top of it and get all the salt out, as much as I can get out. Just keep spraying it, salt away, salt away, salt away. And then I'm going to get an aluminum paint, and paint it. And right around the areas that I can paint, that where the problems lie. And the problems are lying right where those the vent hoses for the fuel and the fuel fill line. And so for some reason water was getting in there, and it was dripping there and laying there. And then over time the salt would evaporate the water, and the salt would crystallize, and the crystallized salt is what caused the erosion of the aluminum, right? So now I don't think that there's any erosion on the bottom of the tank, because I don't want to think that. I'm thinking that the bottom of the tank is good, right? Because it is holding fuel. Now, maybe if I keep this boat for 5 years, maybe in 5 years, if I see this oil leaking out, fuel leaking out, then okay, maybe I'll change it, or I'll just sell the boat for parts or scrap or whatever. But you know, this is a good boat. It's an all composite boat, so the boat should last for many, many years. And I'm the second owner. The original owner had this boat from 2008, and he decided to sell it. So that's my plan. So stay tuned for part 2 of this video. When I get all the parts that I need, I ordered all the parts to do this job, and then we're gonna seal it up, and then we're gonna run it. And what I did is I took a lot of the water out, like 55 gallons. Now and the boat was full of fuel, full. So it's not like it's losing fuel. I towed the boat like 2 hours, and no fuel came out, no fuel was spilling on the road. There's no water in the tank, which is good. I had a friend of mine, he came here, he actually disconnected the fuel line from the fuel water separator, and he pumped the squeegee to pressurize the tank, and he got water. But when I pumped it, there's no water in the tank, absolutely zero water. And I did so many tests. I put the water in bottles, and I waited to see if there was water. There was no water. So, but what I did now is I opened up all the hatches just to let the heat dry out everything that's in there. Now when it's dry, I'm gonna hit it with the hose and clean out all the salt, whatever salt it is. After I seal everything up, I'm gonna wash it all out. So, as of now, I think the tank is still good. It's viable. There's no point in me tearing up this deck because it may become a big problem. A guy who does fiberglass may want $1,000 to cut it, put it back down, do fiberglass, and I don't know how to do fiberglass, because then you got to put gel coat, you got to put seal. It's a huge process, right? To make it look like a nice job, right? You could always cover it up with seed deck or anything like that, but I want to get this boat in the water and start using it as soon as possible. I don't want to wait a month for people to build a tank, put the deck on. So I think the boat is usable. I just got to patch up those holes, whatever I see, and then I'm going to use the paint as best as I can to paint the what do you call it, the fuel tank. But let me show you another boat that has a removable fuel. This is a 1998 Neptune, and right here, as you can see, where this line is, right over there, that's the fuel tank. That is the fuel tank, all of that. And this is a nice boat too. I could have just kept this boat, but I wanted the pilot house versus this open thing with the canvas. I just wanted to have this type of a boat with the door, and I can go inside. It has a little cubby cabin like this. This is a little bigger boat. It's wider, much wider, because it's like wider here, and then it tapers down. So there is more room back here in the boat versus that boat. You can see it's a little narrower, but it's fine. You know, this boat was mainly designed for people who want to put this boat in their backyard, in their driveway, and tow it, and not really keep it in the water, because it is a lightweight boat, and it is very easily storageable. Now, it does have the back transom bracket, just like this boat. And that's it. You know, now if that boat had this cover, right, I would have been golden. I mean, you have here little hatches, and all you gotta do is screw this down, caulk it, and you're good. That's it. And if you ever want to get out, say, you know what, let me look in my underneath the tank every 2 years. You could pick it up, clean it, paint it, do whatever you want. This tank will last forever. But this tank was replaced. This tank was replaced. Here's another hatch opening that I don't know why you can't just fully open it. You got to unscrew it all and take it out. And this boat, unfortunately, only has these 1, 2, 3 accessible hatches. There's nothing back here. I don't think there's anything under there. And this is for the fuel fill, and this is to access the bilge pump and the saltwater washdown pump, which is rotten. I have to go and change that, but that's okay.